the love and support that's most needed in China right now. The news popping up on their phones is mostly too worrying. So are the scenes in some cities. In the virus's epicenter, Wuhan, checkpoints are everywhere. With the lockdown in place, streets have completely emptied out.
When we face a new type of virus, of which a lot is still unknown, a lot of people may feel anxious. Psychologists have been deployed in hospitals to treat patients. And experts are there to instruct people on how to protect themselves.
Beijing says it has the situation under control. Images released by the state media show that supermarkets have sufficient supplies and prices are stable. But some dismiss those images as propaganda. This student from Thailand in Wuhan has had a different experience.
It's very difficult to find stuff out, like if you want to buy it right now, because there's a shortage. Everyone wants to stock up, but it's already too late, you know. It's very tiring to go out wearing so many dresses and washing it. One layer of shirt, one jacket, and one overall jacket. So that's like 3 layers, and I wear a mask, and I wear a cap, and 2 gloves.
Trapped at home, some people have followed an online call chanting "Wuhan, do your best" from their windows. Small gestures to lift people's spirits, like this light show in Wuhan, flashing words of encouragement. Everyone here is waiting and hoping that life in the city can soon return to normal.
Let's get the very latest now with our correspondent, Matthias Berlinger, joining us from Beijing. Good morning to you. Matthias, can you bring us up to date on what authorities are doing to get this epidemic in check?
Yeah, the authorities have gone from practically zero response to everything they can throw in within 1 week. Now, as we have seen, Wuhan and almost the entire province is locked, and everywhere people are warned not to go out. As you can see here behind me, this is a fever clinic. Some people are queuing up there, but it's not a lot. I think here in Beijing, the number of cases is not that high yet, but people feel very uncertain about what that means. The number of infected cases, the official number is now 4,500. That might not sound like a lot for a country of 1.4 billion people, but it is double of what it was yesterday, and we still do not know whether this number is accurate at all. We have lots of reports that people have not been reported by authorities, deaths have not been reported, and people have been quickly buried without registering them as linked to this epidemic. All this is very hard to verify, but people are very anxious now. And one woman I just spoke to told me that she thinks that the citizens are probably better prepared for this epidemic than the government, and they are now doing everything to avoid contact with other people, to stay at home.
Okay, staying at home is one form of advice the government's giving. The Beijing, the government's also come out and told citizens to delay all travel abroad. What's behind that? What is the directive exactly?
Well, it's the same that is behind the locking down of the epicenter of this epidemic. The government thinks the less people travel, the less the disease can spread. But what we know is that this comes, all these measures, they came after the New Year's holiday. The busiest travel season in China had already started, and on Sunday the mayor of Wuhan said just prior to the lockdown 5 million people had left the city. So what is needed now, and this is what experts criticize, is a lot of transparency, is to identify cases as soon as possible, because the people have already traveled, they are already out, and the government is now trying to identify people who have traveled to Wuhan before, trying to lock them down. Some people have been placed under house arrest after their travel. We don't know how systematic this is, but it looks a lot like a panic reaction.
Okay, Matthias Berlinger with the latest for us from Beijing. Thanks very much for now. Well, with the coronavirus continuing to spread, scientists and pharmaceutical companies are racing to find a way to medically contain this virus. Lessons learned from the SARS epidemic nearly 2 decades ago may help them in developing a vaccine. It is a race against time before the virus has a chance to mutate.
China has begun testing an HIV drug to fight the new coronavirus that is spreading rapidly. The medication, known as Aluvia or Kaletra, prevents the virus from reproducing, in effect slowing down the spread of the infection. Chinese health authorities requested the drug, according to a spokeswoman for US pharmaceuticals company AbbVie. Scientists around the world are racing to develop a vaccine against the disease. Chinese researchers were able to quickly identify and share the genetic sequence of the new coronavirus, allowing scientific research teams to get to work right away. They hope to build on the data and research gathered during the 2003 outbreak of the severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS. The disease is also caused by a form of the coronavirus. The research teams are pursuing several different approaches, with global health agencies hoping at least one treatment will be ready for human trials within a few months. The new virus is not as deadly as MERS or SARS, but scientists fear it could mutate into an even deadlier and more contagious variant.
Okay, so how possible is that? For more, we're joined by Fabian Schmidt from our science desk. Good morning, Fabian. The latest numbers from China are causing lots of concern today, almost a doubling of the number of cases in one day. Is the spread of this virus increasing in speed and reach?
It certainly is increasing in speed and reach because the virus is highly contagious. There was some question about whether it really is contagious already during the incubation period, which means before people show symptoms. Whether that is true or not, it's clear that many people who are sick are staying home, which also probably means that when we're talking about the 4,500 people who have been infected, this is probably a far too low figure because those people who are staying home, who are not that severely sick but still have serious symptoms but are healthy otherwise, will probably never be registered.
Fabian, there's a lot of focus right now on the development of a vaccine to deal with this. How promising is that? How long could that process take?
The point is that basically there was never in history a case in which a vaccine had so much promise to be developed in such a short time. We're now talking about 3 months. American and Chinese researchers hope that basically they will be able, since the gene sequencing took place already, to be able to develop a vaccine within 3 months and already go into human testing. Then by summer it could be on the market. The question that really is there is, will the epidemic, or if it turns to become a pandemic, which it might, is this going to last that long, or is the vaccine going to hit the market when it's basically already too late? Now, that brings us to the second question we already heard in the report about HIV drugs that could be used to curb the virus. That's the one hope, that this is going to make the process a little milder. The second one is an Ebola drug that some researchers also consider as a potential cure for the virus, which means if you have a infection already, it makes the process a little bit smoother and your recovery faster.
Okay, so a number of options out there. Fabian, thanks so very much for that. Fabian Schmidt from our science desk.